What's up, all 7th geners here? You guys wanted a quick write-up on how to do the TL-S cam swap. So I'm just going to go through real briefly, without obviously disassembling everything again, and show you guys what all needs to come out in order to do the camshaft. You have to disconnect everything off of your throttle body, this sensor, your sensor that goes back to your evap, this guy back here, there's two 10mm bolts on it, throttle body, your sensor up here. You've got this little guy back here with a 10mm, this little I think it's a 1/8 inch inner diameter hose. Just those two together will come off. Your brake booster hose, and then your butterfly for the 6-speed cars. You've got all these 10mm up on the top for your plenum cover, on the Honda cover. Those come off. Below there, you should have two nuts, and I believe it's 8 12mm bolts. Will be holding your intake manifold on. After you get all the sensors disconnected, disconnect your air intake, the whole intake manifold will come off. After that point, you can pull off your little 3.0 VTEC cover here. You'll have a M6 Allen head screws for your coil packs. You're gonna thread those out, remove your coil packs. Same thing with the rears. There's a couple 10mm bolts. I'm gonna try and get in here and show you guys. For your rear coil pack cover, should see one right here. See if I can get the camera to focus a little bit more. You got this one right here. You've got another one. This hose that's in the way right here is the power steering hose. But if you look down, it's going to be right here. That's the other 10mm right here. It should be between your passenger side coil pack and your middle coil pack. It's going to be right here between the two. And there's that screw head. That there should get you access. And then on the very back passenger side corner, you'll see this 10mm right here. It holds the bracket on for your power steering hose. You'll need to do that. And what I did was I took a zip tie and I tied it off to the sway bar right there. The thing that will really help you guys out, I know I got my stiffener in the way here, but these 14mm down here for your engine mount, those two, and this one here is a 17. Take those three out and disconnect the, kind of hard to see, that little 10mm ground strap. Get that engine mount out of the way. That'll help you guys a lot with your timing belt and serpentine belt removal. Also, if you do end up having to remove the timing covers, I think that will make your life so much easier. I know it's kind of hard to see with the sunlight, but on this pulley here, or I'm sorry, the lower pulley for your tensioner, you've got this one here that my screwdriver's touching. You'll see the one just below it there. That's a 14mm. You back that out, and then underneath that bolt, there's a 12mm bolt that you can access from inside of your fender well from the splash shield. That'll pull that 12mm out. Serpentine belt tensioner will come out, and all your timing covers should come off a little bit easier. I forgot to close up my little peak hole there, but you'll see right here from the, I'm hoping you guys can see it, it's starting to get a little bit sunny out. You've got your little access port right here to see when you're at top dead center. There's a little plastic groove that would be at the 6 o'clock location. You're going to line that up with the vertical line that will be etched in for each cylinder. The firing order is etched in series on the front cam gear. So it will go from cylinders 1 to 4 to 2 to 5 to 3 to 6. It's all going to be right here on your front cam cover. If you saw from the pictures, you do have to remove the battery, remove the plastic tray that you've got on the top. If you don't have the specialty bolt that I posted a picture of, they have you use your battery tie down, go from behind the rear camshaft, the cam gear, you go in from underneath it, and you have to actually thread it in to get the tensioner loose. You should be able just to remove the plastic shield that goes around the battery tray, this guy. You should be able to just remove that. The EGR does need to come out, and the upper radiator hose, this guy right here. So you can see both of them side by side. It'll be the one that's to your left. Comes all the way up here to the upper. Disconnect it from here, and you guys saw from my pictures I put an open tray oil catch on there. Caught all the coolant. I was able to reuse it. No harm, no foul. Your relay box, you've got a 10mm that goes up here. You've got another 10mm that's right by the lip for the hood right here. Should be able to remove those two And I also ended up having to remove this guy right here, just to get all the harnesses and crap out of the way. I should be able to get in here and show you guys. Bear with the shakiness here. Okay, this 12mm bolt here, it's going to be a little bit harder to see, but underneath this bracket here, there's two 10mm nuts that hold this fuel line bracket on. Remove the two 10mm nuts, you got this 12mm bolt, and then probably at like, if you're looking dead on at it, it'd be probably about a 5 o'clock location, there's another 12mm. Those are your thrust covers. You got O-rings that go inside of those. Once you get them broken loose, stick a screwdriver in, give them a little wiggle, they'll slide right out. You've got 5 10mm valve cover bolts. You can see these guys right here. There's 5 of them. There's 3 across the top. You got 4 longer length ones, and there's a short one. The short one goes in the top middle on both valve covers. Trying to see what else I've got here for you guys. Your power steering reservoir. It just sits in a little bracket. You can lift it up, and you can tuck that guy all the way back in by your headlight. It'll allow you a lot more room to get to all your different serpentine belts and pulleys and whatnot that you'll have to remove. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here. Let's go over to the cylinder heads real quick. I've got a set torn down. You have to forgive me because I've got everything all torn apart here, but this little guy here, that's one of your camshaft thrust plate covers. Two 12mm bolts. This should be for the front one. And there's your O-ring that sits inside. The end of the camshaft will sit in there. So here's an example. Here's an open camshaft. It sits in there like that behind the cylinder head. Those are the old camshafts I got sitting on the bench here. Here's your rocker arm covers. Trying to find my hardware. Honda made it really nice for us. If you have any doubt at any point, they label all the bolts for you. There's ones that say in for intake and EX for exhaust. And you'll see those when they go on the cylinder heads. Those will be laying across the top here where you see all these bolt holes at. Make sure that whenever you guys tighten down your rocker arm rods, you've got these little dowel pins that sit in here. When the rocker arm assemblies go on, you'll see right here, there's the little pin for the dowel pin to go in, and then there's your bolt hole. Dowel pin, bolt hole. Make sure those get lined up, and then make sure they all sit flush with your rocker arm assemblies. You've got these little 10mm with the flathead screwdriver. Make sure you back these all the way out so that way you're not putting pressure down on the valves whenever you finally do tighten down these rocker arm rods that'll be going across here. You got the upper and lower banks there. Make sure you relieve that pressure so that way you're not pushing down on the valves when you tighten down on the rocker arm assemblies. Look over here, another real helpful tool that you guys will find. If you go on Amazon, you can get one of these bad boys for 10 bucks. I'm trying to see. It's a Power-Built 648827. If you look here, it's got a 10mm head on it. And it's also got a flathead screwdriver in it. So, to do your valve adjustment on it, you have to bear with me here, I've only got 2 hands. You should be able to set the 10mm on the rocker arm. Try and get a good clear focus on here. And you'll have the screwdriver sitting right in the top there. You'll be able to crank on the little handle here to loosen. Use the screwdriver for your valve adjustment, and then when you're all set, hold the screwdriver and crank the handle back to tighten. Makes your valve adjustments pretty easy. The rear bank, not so easy. I did most of this stuff with hand tools. It was all relatively easy to do. If you guys have any questions, by all means, post comments, tag me in it, whatever you guys need to. I'll try and help you out the best I can. The biggest thing is that also, when you're doing top dead center for cylinder number 1 and you do your front cam gear access cover here, there's also one here on the back. I also left that one open. But it's going to be down here by your ABS module. Just trying to put the little rubber cap back in place. there's a cover on there that you're also going to have the rear one timed up as well. There's only one marking on that cam gear for top dead center for whenever you finally do get cylinder 1 lined up. See if I can get a good image here. This little rubber flap, I know it's kind of hard to see because I've got horrible backlighting from the sun. It's just like that cover right there, but on the rear. There's only going to be one mark. Same has the same little plastic notch at the 6 o'clock mark. I talked to a couple J series engine builders, and they said it does not have to be lined up exactly. I had mine probably about a 32nd of an inch advanced, so it would be clockwise advanced towards the front bumper. Haven't had any issues yet, but the biggest thing is you want to make sure that front cam gear pulley is at top dead center for each cylinder when you go through and do your valve adjustment. So make sure you don't try and half-ass it and do 2 cylinders at once. Make sure you go through each individual cylinder and make sure it gets all timed up properly. Other than that, I think that's it for you guys. It's relatively easy. That's what I was going to show you here too. They say that you cannot remove the front cam without removing the upper radiator hose. This is correct. There's 2 12mm bolts for your EGR. Try and get this harness out so you guys can see. Those 2 12mm nuts that sit on there. Disconnect the harness from up top, slides off, the whole EGR comes out, and then, if you guys can see it, try not to block my own lighting. There's a 12mm bolt where my fingertip's on right there for your thrust cover. And the other one is right down in here. It's kind of hard because I can't get my camera in there. There's another 12mm bolt in there. So after you get this cover off, it's all relatively easy. You should be able to do most of the job with only 12mm and 10mm and 14mm and 17mm. That should be the only 4 sockets you need for this entire project. If you guys got anything else, give me a yell.